great way to start off their 3-game road trip with a very good win over the Orlando Magic. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show live from the Xfinity studio, along with Derek, Kyle. I'm Devon Bree, the president of basketball operations, putting this team together. All of you, great to be with you on this Friday night. We are presented by Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary, at Bet365, and so much to talk about after this, again, very good win by the Sixers. Contributions all around to make things happen in the second half, including the first half. As bad as it was, you needed to stay close to Orlando. We said to each other, man, Orlando was just trying to hand this game to the Sixers, and they stayed close enough where they were able to turn things around in the third quarter, close it in the fourth for this 103-91 final score over the Orlando Magic. We'll get to our unsung hero of the night, also a temperature check as well, and we have to just talk about one that's pretty good here as the Sixers improve to 21-15, 4 in a row now on the road, 2 games overall in a row. Kyle, starting with you, man. The main thing that we are going with is the professional win that we wanted to see over the lesser team in the Brooklyn Nets, who were playing better basketball at that time. They let one slip away. Same thing against the Denver Nuggets tonight to start off this road trip against Orlando. A professional win tonight.
That's exactly right, Devon, because first half, you're looking at the stat sheet, you're watching the game itself, and you're just sitting there like, I cannot believe how bad the shooting has been, and I don't know where the offense is going to come from. And the solace that you took is Orlando was shooting the ball poorly too. Anthony Black, I believe, was 2 or 3 from downtown in the first half, but he was their only guy who hit a 3. Otherwise, they were 0 for 13. The two teams were combined 3 for 33, and it's a 1-point game. So you say there's everything to play for. You have more talent on the floor that's available. You are the better team on paper, but what does it look like in the second half? And they came out and they just simply outplayed Orlando. I will say it took every member of the big three to get there. Tyrese had the most explosive stretch in the third quarter. I believe he had 14 points in the third. He ends up pushing them out to about a 5-point lead. I thought you started to see Joel get his legs under him in the post. The Magic decided they were going to single cover him for long stretches of the second half. He did a great job of punishing both Wendell Carter Jr. and Noah Penda. But how often do we get to talk about Paul George leading the closing kick? And the trouble spot for this team has always been Joel Embiid's off the floor. This season, it's been Maxey is off the floor. And tonight, both those guys are sitting on the bench to open the fourth quarter. 5-point game, it can swing either way. And Paul George just took over the game. He scored, I think it was 8 points before either of them had checked back in.
And he scored 6 straight.
Yeah, 6 straight to open it. He takes a heat check 3. And so you can tell that he's feeling good. And this is the vision they had when they signed Paul George, is that you can buy moments, buy time, buy some rest for the other two, because whoever it is out there, you were not expecting to get a number 3 overall pick and VJ Edgecombe when you signed Paul George. Obviously, you're hoping to have a much better year last year, but you were hoping whoever was going to be out there would have been 38 Kyle Lowry last year, that Paul George can keep the offense afloat, that his combination of spot-up shooting, the ability to mismatch hunt, shoot over guys, get to the rim, is going to help you live in those moments on top of Paul being the complementary player. And he flat out won that game for them in the fourth quarter after Tyrese and Joel had already put them on the path to get there. And so when we say professional win, it's because they got these contributions from all of them, and VJ's chipping in, and Jabari Walker's coming in off the bench. You get some good minutes from Barlow. Like, they all just look like they're coalescing. They look like a fully realized or closer to fully realized team at this point. And I'm just really happy that they had a taking care of business win. It's not they didn't blow them out by 25 points. It's not exciting or as exciting as hitting a game-winning shot in crunch time and getting to that point. But these wins are really important to stack up in the regular season. And to win the season series on that win, when who knows? These two can end up pretty close in the standings down the stretch. That's a big win. It's one I'm super happy with if I'm the Sixers.
Yeah, and like we started this off, and you're talking about Paul George and his 10 points in the fourth quarter, and you're talking about Tyrese and the 14 he scored in the third quarter, and even so, still you look up and Tyrese shot 10 for 22, Paul 8 for 21. Neither of them had truly efficient games. Nick Nurse I think it was the Nuggets game where he talked about it's a shooting. He didn't say shooting variance, but that was the difference
shooting
is a shooting
percentage
game.
loss. I believe he said.
And this one, if you look at the stat sheet, both teams shot 41% from the field. Both teams shot 14% from three-point range. Both teams shot in the mid-80s from the free throw line. The difference is the Sixers had 7 more field goal attempts, and the Sixers had 6 more free throws made. And it's when you really look at it, those wins a lot of times tend to come down from doing the little things. Like the Sixers got 21 offensive rebounds. 21 offensive rebounds.
And it did not look like that was going to be the case early.
No, early on, they're getting killed. And we mentioned it in the pregame show, this Orlando team is a pretty good defensive rebounding team, an above-average offensive rebounding team. They had just killed, I think it was the Nets on the offensive glass. So coming out there, getting those extra possessions, only having 12 turnovers to 18 for the Magic. They did a lot of you had some good individual performances and key stretches down the stretch, but you did a lot of the little things, including even in that second quarter when you still couldn't make a shot in the second. I think the Sixers were scorching in the second half and went 3 for 11 from three-point range. Wasn't exactly burning down the nets, but outside of that first quarter, you did enough little things throughout the course of the game to first keep yourself within arm's reach, aided by the fact that Orlando shot 2 for 16 in the first half or something absurd like that from 3. But you did enough little things that you could, really capitalize on that and let the talent win out in the second half.
No, man, just to look at the second half after we all watched it. If you didn't watch it, the theme is first half was really bad and they were only down by 1 at the break, 54-53. But in the second half, neither team, again, could shoot from behind the three-point line, but the Sixers could shoot from the field. They were 20 for 38 for 52.6% in the second half, where the Orlando Magic was 14 for 39 for 36% in the second half, including their 9 turnovers that led to 8 points for the Sixers. And as the guys talked about, the free throws were pretty much the same, 7 of 10 for the Sixers, 7 of 9. But it was what you got in the second half from Paul George with 12, Joel Embiid with 12, Tyrese Maxey with 17 in the second half, where Maxey had 12 in the first half, Embiid had 10, and George was somewhere around 5 or something like that in that first half, only to turn things up the way that they did to close this game out with this professional win. And as Kyle said it right away, this is what you want to see. It's not going to always be pretty. Tyrese Maxey said it on the broadcast with his post-game conversation. It's not going to always be pretty. We don't need it always to be pretty. Just like we always say, hey, this game stunk against the Brooklyn Nets or the Denver Nuggets. You went into overtime. You only need to win by 1, and we'll evaluate it after you pick up that win. That's what they did tonight. There were 2 halves. We evaluated the first half in studio, ticked off in office here, talking about how poorly they played, but giving them their credit of sticking around, also with a little help from Orlando, as Derek said, because they couldn't make a shot either. But everybody doing one little thing to help them stay within where they took the lead before the break and then gave up a layup where it was too easy for Anthony Black to get that one to give them the 54-53 lead. But to come out in the third quarter, in which we talk about all the time of their issues, the woes that they have in the third quarter, instead they come out in the third quarter, and while it was 30-25, normally it's flipped the other way, or it's a wider margin for the opponent where they blow the Sixers out in the third quarter, where the Sixers then have to fight back in the fourth. And that was not the case. They took the lead going into the fourth quarter. They were up 83-79, and with a few possessions, with a few scores, and then Kyle pointed out where Paul George goes on that 6-0 personal run for them to stretch that lead to about 9. I think it was 81. It was 91-80, and that's when things just went the other way. So we've seen them win a lot of different ways this season, and then we talked about it in the pregame of this being the second game full strength, where Kelly Oubre is a part of it. You have to mix and match with Dominic Barlow and Jabari Walker, who's going to get the center minutes. What about Jarrett McCain? Where does he fit in? They found a way collectively as a team to get through whatever mistakes they were playing through in the first, to come through in the second half together to pick up a very good road win against a basketball team that Kyle pointed out that you might be positioning for some seeding later on that matters right now. And then the second part of where it matters is this matters to them, knowing that despite the struggles that they did have in that first half, that collectively they can come together as a group, figure out the issues with the coaching staff and the players, and the belief that they can, no matter the opponent. They've seen so many different third quarters, but they came out of that locker room and locked in here with a team win together in that second half. You need individual performances because you have talented players that are going to do that, with the 14 from Maxey and the 10 from George in those spans, and mix in some Joel Embiid there. But that was a really, really good team win over the Orlando Magic. And this is something that, Kyle, I think they can just, like we talked about, something that they can build off of going to this now 2 games in Toronto against another good Toronto Raptors team sitting right in front of you in the standings. This is one that they can look at the tape, feel good about themselves on their off day on Saturday, walk on that floor in Toronto and believe that, hey, we can win this basketball game on Sunday as they lace them up.
Yeah, and we'll get to some other players throughout the show. There was a comment and someone I wanted to get to in the first block. White Square here made a comment and said, Nurse is doing a better coaching job. I will say, I thought tonight was some of the best timeout calling that he's done all year. And I know that that's a sore subject for a lot of the people who are the biggest critics of Nurse. But what happened tonight? They go down, I think it was like 6-1 to start the game. And having the opponent score 3 baskets is not that big of a deal. But Nurse saw what all of you and all of us were seeing. Orlando was taking it to them on the offensive glass. That's exactly what Devon talked about before the game. It's one of their big advantages as a team. They are big. They play big. They're playing more physical than the Sixers are. And Nurse immediately looks at that and says, we got to come in here. We got to talk this through. And we're not going to have a repeat of the Denver game where we come out, we don't play seriously. Now, that didn't mean that the Sixers immediately went on a big scoring run or immediately solved that problem, but it was a good time to come together, have a chat. Then fourth quarter, much different situation. You're up double digits. I think they're up 13 at the time, 12, 14, 13, somewhere in that range.
101-85.
And Orlando goes on a mini run. I believe they pulled within 12. And Nurse calls a very quick timeout and says, we're not going to let this fester. We're not going to let them get any wind in their sails. We're going to put this to bed right now. We're going to come next time down to have a professional possession, execute on offense, and we're going to end this game. That's exactly what they did. And look, I know those are just little sequences, and those don't necessarily matter in a game where you did win pretty comfortably. Orlando was not good. They don't have the offensive firepower. They're a good defensive team, but offensively they're going to struggle no matter who they have healthy. But as you look at that and then think about what matters in the playoffs, it is the little adjustments. It is calling a timeout at the right time. It's making the decision with Jared McCain, who got an opportunity in the first half because Kelly Oubre was struggling. Nurse in the second half said, McCain's not playing well. He's not coming back in this game. And the usage of Oubre was minimum as well. So I give him some credit for their ability to turn around in the second half. He didn't take the shots. He wasn't the one who went out there. But I think he pushed the right buttons and helped push them in the right direction.
While you're talking about Nurse, can we just add in that coach's challenge at the 5:18 mark where they got that one overturned? Very good challenge. Wendell Carter, it went against them, and the Sixers kept their timeout. And we give a lot of credit to Kareem, of course, on the show for what he does behind the bench and looking at the tape and all of that. But that is another one, Derek, that you look at that. Kareem is not going to get that credit from just everybody. Nick Nurse is going to get that credit, but he is the head coach. He is the one that has to go through it and decide on that challenge, and that's another good one that worked out for them.
Well, Doc Rivers used to have no problems reminding you that he had a challenge coach. Of course, he only reminded you when things went wrong, but he still reminded you. No, I agree with everything you guys just said. It was also easier when the other team score or shoots 4 for 29 from three. The Orlando Magic were also a run stopper for the Orlando Magic because they couldn't get out of their own way on offense. I think he did a good job. And quite frankly, I think a lot of the criticisms, not that he has done a great job, but I think a lot of the criticisms tend to
they've quieted down.
Yeah. Yes,
They've quieted down.
They didn't after the Denver game.
Yeah,
But there was a brief storm, and now we're back to calm waters, I think.
But Derek, here after this one, as we talk about it, they've won 5 of their last 6.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to those 3 games that they won at the end of that 5-game trip.
One stinker away from 6 in a row.
Yeah, so I mean, they won 5 of their last 6, and as we talked about it in the pregame show, you guys being there, seeing the full team together. This was before the full team came together, but all that stuff matters. 5 of their last 6, that overtime loss to the Denver Nuggets is going to sting, but that's what gave us the belief to talk about them the way that we did in the pregame because of how well they have been playing. 5 of 6 overall, 4 in a row now on the road. They're playing some of their best basketball of the season.
Yeah, and like there's been some pretty good wins. Like this was a pretty good win tonight. The win against the Knicks, good win, no doubt about it. And it really is like, it followed up sort of like that 3-game losing streak with the Bulls and the Nets when everyone panicked. And it kind of reminds you it's a long NBA season. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You don't have to panic every time there is one of the dry spells, although certainly come in here and watch us and vent in the chat, but you don't have to panic. And this is, look, I don't think it's surprising that they were playing their most consistent basketball when they finally have most of their important everyone for the last 2 games, but even over the last 2 weeks, most of their important players healthy. They are right now 9 of their last 13, I believe they've won 9 of the last 14, something like that.
Good.
So they are playing pretty good basketball, pretty consistent basketball, and it certainly, I don't think, is not a coincidence it's happening when players are getting healthy.
And one of the best things that you see when you have the whole thing going, you check Derek's and Kyle's Twitter accounts during the day, and they give you the injury report. Sometimes Joel is on there questionable, but I don't even sweat it as much anymore because I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to play. And that's great. Yeah. That is great.
It's a really freeing feeling that I'm like, it's further down the priority list to even think about it right now. It's really, really great for us, but think about what it's like for his teammates who finally don't have to think about it. It's just like, big fella's going to play, and we know how we're going to play. That's a great feeling to have.
Now, we'll discuss it on Sunday, and Monday because they have a back-to-back. He hasn't done one of those in a long, long time. So we'll go through that as needed and see which one.
Brenna in the chat
he
tonight,
played.
by the way. Hello,
Brenna
Brenna.
in there hanging out with us here with the win. No, it's a good basketball team. Brenna says, yeah, get in there. Thank you, Brenna. While everybody's in there, Brenna's in there. Hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show. You got a pretty good basketball team. You know where to come to before and after games. That's right here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. All right, when we come back, we got to get to an unsung hero presented by Togo. There's a lot to hand out here tonight. Unsung hero, we got a temperature check, certainly the player of the game, all with you here. Plus, we got to get some league thoughts from these guys. They weren't here on Wednesday. Things have happened. We got to talk to these guys about that later in the show. It's the Sixers at 21-15 following a 103-91 victory over the Orlando Magic. Next up, 2 with the Toronto Raptors. But first, we discussed this one. Big win over the Magic. Sixers, Magic, good win from your home team. We discuss it much, much more. Unsung hero next, right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, we work a lot of late nights covering the Sixers. There are very few things that get me out of bed and out of the house in the morning, but the Wawa $5 big breakfast deal is one of them. It's a sizzly, whatever sizzle you want. I'm a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant guy myself, but they have all kinds of options. Any size, hot or iced coffee. I need a big coffee in the morning. And a hash brown. That's the whole thing, all for just $5. It's a go-to for me when I need something to fill me up in the morning, get me going. Also, tastes delicious. And if you want to switch it up and make it sweet, you can use their new caramel chocolate craze flavors too. I'm a caramel guy myself. I don't know, maybe Bree, maybe Devon are more on the chocolate kick. There's something there for everybody. And most importantly, it's $5. You're in and out. The deal's only in the mornings, 5 to 11 a.m. It's a nice window. You're up early. You're heading to work. You guys know it. Gotta have a Wawa.
Time to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Over 90 million users worldwide, 780 live events each year, and you get early payouts in the NBA and the NHL. Where else are you getting that? Nowhere but Bet365. And you can always find great super profit boosts, regular profit boosts as well. It's a great place to place your wagers on the games that you love. Also, for new customers and new customers only, guess what? You get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up. That's right, win or lose. You're also getting that nowhere else but Bet365. All you have to do is sign up using the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets credit to your account. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And we're back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show with a 103-91 comfortable in the second half win as the Sixers pulled away from the Magic, win 4 in a row, 25-15 now on the season. And they are now, after this win, they are a full game up on the Orlando Magic in the standings, or a game and a half up on the Orlando Magic in the standings at 21-15. Magic now 21-18. Toronto loses tonight. They are 23-16. Sixers sit half a game back.
That's a
with
big
two
back-to-back this weekend, buddy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's get to as we talk about the team heating up, 5 of their last 6, 9 of their last 13. How about a player heating up in this game tonight with the Ace Hardware temperature check presented by Ace Hardware Home Services? Of course, visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. We got to go to, guys, Paul George heating up. 18 points tonight, 8 for 21 for the game.
So here's the funny thing. 0 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
8 for 21 from the field. And we're probably about to say that he's heating up, which is a really funny, funny place to arrive
Before
at.
that third or fourth quarter, he was like 3 for 13 and 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah, and when you follow up the game that he had on Wednesday and that win, and you look at what Paul George has done, where we've talked about the 0-4 start of the big 3, and then the big 4 emerges, and then they can't lose anymore outside of that Nuggets game. Paul George in this last 5 games, 14, 15, the 8 where they lost to Denver. If he would have had a normal game, they probably would have won that one. 23 against Washington on Wednesday, tonight 18. So with what he has been doing over these last few games, he's looked really good. By the way, he also had 9 rebounds tonight. And let's just go through those. 9, 4, 2, 8, and 7. Those are his rebounds. And you got 3, 5, 3, 6, and 2. He's doing the stat sheet stuffing things, Kyle, that he does. He's averaging 15 points for the month of January, 5 and 4 with rebounds and assists. And we know about his steals at 1.3. He's shooting 39% from 3, which is what we discussed last season with the catch and shoot opportunities. Now
and we knew that would improve after last year. Last year was a complete anomaly.
And he's only taken averaging through this month 11 shots per game. He's shooting 46% from the field, 5 for 11 in this time. But, he's helping to impact the winning, and that's including the defensive stuff that he does as well. Paul George is heating up.
Yeah, and I feel like we've talked about this a few times recently. And he said it himself the other night. Derek got some great video from his post game the other night. But Paul is playing exactly how a third option needs to, which is not to say that he gives you 20 to 25 points every night. It's that his points have been impactful. They're coming at times during the game when either he's the lone star on the floor or I should say veteran star, because we'll talk about VJ at some point. But he's the lone vet star on the floor, or maybe Joel and Tyrese are in a funk. They've turned the ball over. They're not shooting well. And it's like, okay, now it's time to give Paul the ball. Now, tonight, full mea culpa from me, I was like, get this guy off the floor for a good 2.5, close to 3/4 of that game.
Even in the fourth quarter, he had that one play, and I said to Kyle, man, he looked old right there.
Reel it in a little bit. But, I mean...
And then he picked it up.
They're force-feeding offense to him early in the game where the ends did not justify the means, but he still played with the confidence and, frankly, the aggressiveness that they needed him to, so that when the beginning of the fourth quarter happens, the middle to the end of the fourth quarter happens, Paul then works himself into a rhythm and ultimately helps them win that game. So, yeah, I think the other stuff is what has been more consistent, the rebounding, the secondary playmaking, not so much the off-the-dribble game as we saw last year, more of the quick swing pass, just diagnosing plays, and then the defense, right? The defense has been pretty awesome since the moment he stepped on the floor. There was a moment tonight where Joel Embiid got a block at the rim late in the game that you pointed it out, Devon, and you were absolutely right at the time. Paul made the play. Paul was the low man who got to the spot, forced, I think, was it Paolo who had to slow down?
It was Paolo or Anthony Black, one of the two.
One of the two of them slowed down at the rim long enough that Joel could get back in the play, and then he just makes a huge block at the rim, right? So that doesn't show up in the stat sheet for Paul. He doesn't get credited for that, but he's been making plays like that essentially all year, and that's a big part of why they've been successful with him on the floor.
Yeah, look, we started the segment off joking that a guy who was 3 for 13 from the field through 3 quarters of play is our heating up guy. But I think what Kyle sort of brought it back to at the end there is why. Like, when you have been so consistent defensively all year, and what probably their best defender all year, certainly since Kelly missed 2 months, it's easier to say. But I think overall he has been your best defender. And he's been a very consistent defender, and he completely changed He completely changed the ability of the team from the moment that he got on the floor. So when you have a stretch like this,
complexion,
yes, that's exactly what I was going for. Thank you. It's always great when your mind just completely shuts off in the middle of a show.
It's Friday night,
and we do these a lot, so it's okay.
But when you have a game like this where he scores 10 in the fourth, where he scores 8 straight. When he is able to really calm everything down, take control, and close the game out, you give him his credit, even if he was pretty poor throughout 3 quarters, because the other side of the court has been so good and so consistent for so long. So he has. You mentioned that video of where he was talking about the role after the game, and we posted it. And it was interesting watching a lot of the reaction where he's basically like, "Look, this is Tyrese and Joel's team. They're going to be the offensive engines. I think I can still be elite defensively." And you had 2 sort of different types of fans. One of them where they were like, I'm really impressed that he embraces his role. He's willing to, play defense every night and give the team what they need, despite the fact that he has all these accolades. And you have the other team side of the fan base going like, you're being paid $50 million. Don't talk about being a role player. I give him a ton. I'm certainly more completely on the side of the former. I give him a ton of credit for accepting his role, not feeling like because I have the history I have in the league or the bank account that I have and the salary that I have that I need to get those touches and those shots, and that he's willing. It would be one thing if he was like, I'm going to be a role player on offense and that's it, but I'm going to be a role player on offense and I'm going to commit every second I'm on the court defensively. I give him a ton of credit for that.
When he was the superstar player that he was with Indiana and then later on with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we saw what he did with LA, still all-star right before he comes here. He always had that game where you felt like his game is going to age well because he doesn't need the athleticism all the time to do the stuff that he needs to do, especially on the defensive end where it works out. If he accepts, as superstars typically do not, accepts their role. Mm-hmm. And despite the money that he got, he is still a player that we even talked about then when it was the Jimmy Butler versus Paul George. Who would you rather have on your team, especially when Joel Embiid is really, really cooking in his prime? Who would you rather have? It's because he was that good. And now when you look at, he's just a natural fit where you can just drop him right in there if he plays within the flow of what's going on. And yeah, he's going to have those moments where he has a 2 minute and a half, 3 minute stretch where he has it going and you just let him do what he needs to do. You reward him for that. And we're starting to see the rewards of that now after he is no longer battling through the knee injury, the nagging pain of that, and wondering if he's going to be in and out of the lineup. And now, as we keep saying, no more minute restrictions where it's just normal rotational stuff of, all right, Paul just needs to come out of the game at the 6 minute mark in the first quarter, and he didn't look good. No one looked good. But in that fourth quarter, for him to put up those 6-8 points in a row when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey were sitting down, that was huge for this basketball team to open that gap.
And you know what? One other thing, he also stopped doing the podcast. He recognized, like, and I wasn't sure he had the self-awareness to be like, I had this awful year and I'm doing this side venture as it all goes awry. I wasn't sure that he had it within him to say, I got to push this to the side. Because, look, it's not as though he can't do that and still play well at basketball. Like, I'm not suggesting that. But I do think there are a lot of guys. Draymond is a great example. Draymond has had a pretty awful season by his standards, and he just keeps getting up there at the microphone and spewing nonsense and it's like, bro, can you take your primary job more seriously? So I applaud Paul George for not worrying about the extra side hustle money and going out there and doing the real job. Thank you, Paul, for that.
What, are you saying podcasting's not a real job?
Well, I mean,
Not when
they
you
let
play
us do it.
professional basketball is not a real job. You know, that's your real job right there. I'll ask you this, though.
I bet you he knows how to say complexion.
When he is in this
Complexion of the team, you dipshit.
when he is in that space of he scores 6 or 8 in a row, or has that run that he has, but he starts to do the Paul George between his legs and gets to his mid-range spot. Even if he makes that first one, whatever shot it is, how is that making you feel in the moment when you're watching it versus it going through?
Well, at that point, he had made a couple in a row.
I'm talking about just after the first one.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Paul is going to have to.
I don't mean just tonight, because we seem to have good stretches. But
I've seen him make enough of those that it depends on who the matchup is.
Okay.
And it really depends on the rest of the offense, too. If VJ, if Maxey, if Joel are really rolling, I don't need a whole lot of mid-post ISO, but
yeah.
I like that it's there to go to if they need it.
It also depends on who's on the floor with him, right? Because all of that dancing came when Maxey and Embiid were out. So and
Edgecombe was out there with him.
Wasn't have a huge scoring night,
right?
So you needed somebody to create a shot. And look, if Maxey's cooking and Paul George wants to take a contested pull-up jumper, you might have a little bit of a concern with that. But if you're out there, you're trying to get Embiid and Maxey a couple minutes of rest in a close game with a lineup that really wasn't having anyone else that was having a big night offensively. To Kyle's point, I've seen him make that shot a ton. I know he can make tough shots. It's not going to be consistent. It's not going to always happen. But on nights or in specific instances, I was actually okay with that stretch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he made it happen. He walked down at one point. He sized up Wendell Carter right around the elbow, knocked down a jumper there. After that was about 6 in a row. He get the 8th point. Heat check from 3 that he took, and we're like, you earned that one. Just go ahead and take it.
Heat check from 3 on a night he went 0 for 7 from 3. It's really funny, but he absolutely earned it. So good job tonight, Paul. Very good game at the end.
Yes, he did. Paul George, our Ace Hardware temperature check player of the night, who's heating up. Make sure you visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. When we come back, the unsung hero.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the unsung hero.
We got to discuss this one. Different type of game, but he's the unsung hero. Who is it, everybody? We always ask, who is it? Dominic Barlow, not eligible. It's his award. Whose is it?
He's retired.
Leave it in the chat as we go to our break. Your unsung hero of the night. We'll break it all down, discuss it with you when we get back. Also, hit the like button as you're typing your stuff in there, your unsung hero candidate. Hit that like button while you're over there, and we'll come back and we'll discuss the unsung hero right here, presented by Togo on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. It's almost playoff time. We're here. Do you really want, after some issues with Britton Covey, do you really want Jalen Hurts returning punts? Absolutely not. No, it's not worth the risk. And it's not the same. It's exactly the same when it comes to your money. You don't want to risk the time or the money to keep your stars focused on what they need to do. You need to make sure that they're out there and healthy. The same goes for your business right now as well. You don't want your top people buried in operations, the tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear them down. Keep your impact players fresh so they can focus on putting points on the board. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based processes, engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you the complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency to do what's right as you call the plays and they execute your way and advise along the journey. Visit Harness to Go PHLY.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning.
Next up, we want to tell you about Mars Men. Because, guys, we've all felt it. Once you hit your mid-30s, suddenly everything that used to be easy isn't. And we barely ever talk about it, but it needs to be discussed. It hit me like a brick wall right around the age of 34. Same workouts, same diet, but I felt like I was moving through mud. Because here's the thing, most men start losing testosterone right around the age of 30 and lose about 1% every year after that. Here's what Mars Men does. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Mars Men includes no synthetics and uses no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize energy, focus, and strength. And Mars Men has a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that our show sent you.
Way to start off the road trip with a 103-91 victory over the Orlando Magic. Solid performance in the second half from the Sixers. And one of the reasons why they were able to pick up this 21st victory of the season, our Unsung Hero, presented by Togo, where we got a lot of votes there in the chat, Kyle, with a lot of different guys.
And for a few different people,
And
too.
we like the thinking here. The Unsung Hero, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing, goes to tonight. We saw Andre Drummond in there in the chat. We saw Jabari Walker in the chat.
He definitely got consideration, and we can talk about him a little bit.
But
He just didn't play
Derek,
long enough.
We're going with VJ Edgecombe tonight. While he did not go off for 27 or 22.
He didn't even go off for 7.
And hit the big three-pointer in the fourth quarter that they needed. Man, he did other things that impacted this game. 6, 9, and 7 on the night for VJ Edgecombe. Break down this game, this stat line from him, where he still gets the Unsung Hero.
Yeah, and it is, it goes to show, if we're being honest, this was probably a little more of what we expected coming into the season. It was this type of game. Maybe not quite with his passing. I think he showed more in terms of his playmaking than maybe we were expecting early on in his career. But you expected to be like, all right, well, he's not scoring a ton, but he's he's contributing on the glass. He's locking down his man defensively. He's getting deflections. He's leading the break. He's filling lanes on the break. He is doing all of the little things. And this was sort of, that's why you end up being the unsung hero. If he had a 25-point night, he wouldn't be unsung at all. But he really does have an ability to impact the game in a multitude of ways. And completely changing the complexion of the game. It is like I thought this was one of his better defensive outings in a while, and he's been really good defensively. Not in a while because he's had those 2 performances against Knicks. But this was a really strong defensive game from him. It was a really good passing game. He had a bunch of coming off of a screen and whipping a pass to the corner. I found Barlow on a pretty nice roll. He had a pretty nice scoring opportunity coming off of a dribble handoff with Joel. So I think he's starting to find some chemistry there. And it's just he's impacting the game in a multitude of ways. And you add that in with the pretty regular scoring burst that he's giving you and the big shots down the stretch, not tonight, but throughout the course of the season. It is great that he is doing the little things that we thought when we scouted him, and he's added onto that with addressing the weaknesses we thought he had to become a very complete player early on in his career.
Can you start with, though, as Derek talked about his defensive performance, where we were sitting there saying
the defense of Joel Embiid when he got fouled? Is that where you're going?
Actually, that was great defense.
Actually, no, but I saw that Marcus Blackstock brought that up. Standing Up the Panda was his what got it for me. I'm talking about the Paolo Banchero on an island by himself defense.
Oh yeah,
I just wanted to, could you start off with that?
Well, yeah, so we talked about it before the game. The scouting report on Paolo is if you just let him shoot pull-up jumpers, fine. Like
PB
you can live with
PB
that.
no J.
Okay.
And I think you saw that tonight. Devon made sure to point out, boy, they're giving him his left, and he just will not take it.
He would not take it.
He refused to take it. But there were times when, look, VJ's given up height, a lot of weight, years of experience, and he's just standing there, and I felt very comfortable with VJ. Just, you want to let him shoot over you? Okay, I'd rather that than sending help and giving an open shot to a Jace Richardson, an Anthony Black, or whoever it might be. Tonight is one of those games where you're just like, the kid just cares about winning. Like, that's flat out, that's all that is. That game, he takes 8 shots, hit 0 threes, and he is still a massive positive because the engine was just running from the start of the game. I thought he was the best player on the floor in the first probably, whatever it was, 8 minutes of that game before he got poked in the eye and then went out. Hit a tough runner on a pass fake to Joel and then just like a smooth runner. Scored again after that. I'm trying to remember how there was a bucket immediately after that as well. Or no, it was a drop-off assist to Dominic Barlow.
For the dunk.
In transition. The play he got poked in the eye on was that the missed goaltending call on the Oubre shot?
Yeah.
And he just flies out of nowhere, grabs that. While he's clutching at his face, he still manages to keep the ball with his team. And all over the place athletically tonight. And I think what the passing numbers or the assist number shows, you said it, Devon, while we were watching the game, that could have easily been a double-digit assist game.
Easy.
He hit Tyrese with a couple early when Tyrese is 0 for 4 from 3, where these are practice shots from the corner that Maxey was just missing. But I love that while you still are seeing him attack the rim and play with that, high-end high-octane athleticism, trying to punch on people, I do think the discretion that he's showing lately is really impressive. And I think what you're seeing is that Nick and the Sixers handed him a lot of on-ball responsibility early, running the second units, running the offense with Maxey on the floor even, and without Joel Embiid. And he's showing more composure. He's showing more patience. He's showing the benefit of getting all those reps because now, as Derek brought up, I think the pick and roll game or the pick and pop game with Joel Embiid looks a lot more natural. He's figuring out how to get the ball to Joel at his spots, how and when to take advantage of if Joel sets a screen here, here's how I can angle my handle to get around that guy, or if I need to split somebody or go baseline, whatever it might be. I think you just see him reading the floor and reading the game better and better as the season wears on. So yeah, this is not a 25-point game with a game winner, but we've seen a few of these now recently where the last game against Washington, what was it, like 13, probably 7 rebounds, and he's playmaking as well. And a lot more of those starting to pile up. When he can start putting all of it together in one game, he is going to be a really scary player to deal with. And he really is like a lot of the Jimmy Butler energy, where even when he is not scoring the ball, his imprint is all over the game.
Except VJ doesn't take a month off from shooting threes.
There is that. He might have wanted to take the game off based on the wedgie he shot tonight. It was a pretty ugly one.
Take it to Toronto with you and get it right there. But for me, I'll just make this one pretty quick because we do need to hit a break. I just like the feel for the game that he is having right now. When he started off with that hot streak with the game against Boston, and then Charlotte goes off in that game, the first game here in Philadelphia, and he had that run. He hit that wall that he hit. And while he was still doing things like hitting a big shot in the fourth quarter, maybe getting a good steal or a good block here, I remember saying on the show, I don't like how he's not being aggressive right now. And he just seems like he's deferring to everybody. Now the passing is not deferring. He's setting stuff up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's deliberate. And you can see it. And the most important part, they already trust him. We've talked about the trust that he has gained from his coaching staff and his teammates. I feel so much more comfortable when he's out there with the ball in his hands now, where before it was like, get the ball out of his hands. We know they're going to pressure him and they're going to try to force him to do some things. He's not falling for that anymore.
Yep.
And he looks so comfortable. The feel for the game is there. And the shot attempts. He's not forcing shots. Even though he took that bad one that was a wedgie on the 3, he had another 3 that was a brick.
And that's still a shot. I want him taking that 100 times out of 100. That's a clean shot.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just love the feel that he has for the game right now. And despite the fact that he did not hit double figures tonight in scoring, I have no worry that he won't do that in probably both of those games in Toronto, because the feel for the game right now is there. And I love it for VJ Edgecombe right now, our Togo unsung hero, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute.
And real quick before we do hit a break, loved him getting feisty with Penda. And I said it during the game. It's very funny seeing the 6'5" guard take up for it, be the enforcer
for the
7 foot, 300 pound or 280, whatever Joel is, taking up for him and battling for him, getting the double tech. And the great thing is, it wasn't even a second thought like, oh man, VJ will be in danger of a second tech the rest of the way.
Yeah.
That's his, I know I have some room here. You get in the guy's face, you prove a point, and I'm not worried about him for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Love that.
Yep.
Love that fire.
Love it. Love it. All right, our final pause here on the show. When we come back, we'll break down much, much more of this game, plus our other guy that was our unsung hero candidate. Yeah, let's talk about Jabari Walker a little bit and some of the others on the other side. Sixers win 103-91. They're 21-15 on the season. Very, very good win, a professional one for the Sixers tonight. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Philly sports fans, listen up. It's the season of gifting, and if you're looking for something truly unforgettable this year, or if you just forgot to get something nice for somebody for Christmas, because we are in January, I've got the perfect idea. Got to check out the incredible work from Philadelphia sports artist Jordan Spector at SpectorSportsArt.com. I own one of Jordan's pieces myself. You can see a beautiful piece here of Saquon Barkley from the Snow game. That one, these aren't just posters you hang on the wall. They're museum-level artworks of the greatest moments and icons in Philly sports history. Now, Devon Givens holding it up is not coming along with what you're going to get, but the collection comes in prints, canvases, even athlete partner trading cards, including a piece of Brandon Graham's real game-worn jersey and one of those cards from that matchup in New Orleans against the Chiefs. If you got a diehard sports fan in your life or just want to treat yourself, it's the kind of gift they'll talk about forever. SpectorSportsArt.com. That's SpectorSportsArt.com. Grab something epic for the Philly sports fan in your life.
Next up, we want to tell you about TrueMark Financial Credit Union. And look, especially at this time of year after the holidays, we're all looking to find a way to take the money that we've already made and stretch it just a little bit further. And if you're looking for a way to grow your savings, for a limited time, TrueMark Financial is offering a 5-month certificate at a 4.1% annual percentage yield. With a minimum deposit of just $500, it's an easy way to put your money to work. Whether you're saving for an upcoming expense, strengthening your emergency fund, or simply putting extra cash to work, this certificate is a great option. Open your 5-month certificate today at TrueMark.com or by visiting any of their 24 convenient branch locations. Annual percentage yield is accurate as of January 9th, 2026, and subject to change. Certificate requires a minimum deposit of $500. Federally insured by the NCUA. Visit TrueMark.com for full details.
And we're back here. Final segment on the PHLY Sixers postgame show for your 21-15 basketball team. Big 2-game series coming up against the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. Sunday, Monday, back-to-back in Toronto. Make sure you're with us here. 6 o'clock tip time on Sunday. We know what's going on on Sunday at 4:30, but you can hang out with us. TV, laptop, iPad, phone, whatever you need. Turn us on at 5:30 for the Sixers Raptors pregame show right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Let's get to the player of the game. He did it again, and we're talking about him at minute 48 where we got to acknowledge him a little bit longer. And that's Tyrese Maxey with 29, 3 made threes in the second half because nobody can make a three in the first half. 45% from the floor, 3 steals as well. And he had that 14-point third quarter that was very necessary, Kyle, for the Sixers, for their 30-point quarter in the third to, again, open things up. Paul George then really opened up that lead in the fourth. But Tyrese Maxey, once again, where we had Tim Legler on and talked with him the other day. By the way, if you did not see that, everybody, go check it out on our YouTube page and listen to Legs talk about Tyrese Maxey and the Sixers because he believes he should be a starter in the All-Star game, by the way. This is why, because
I agree with Tim on that one.
29
Not that
points,
I disagree with him on tons, but
and we don't
agree
even,
on that
he's just like, yeah, we get to Tyrese Maxey later in the show.
He really cracks me up where he hit 2 shots to start the second or the third quarter, and then it was an immediate heat check. He needs almost no excuse to be like, I'm firing up another one. All it started with was he got Wendell Carter on a switch, and he bumps him off, hits the short mid-range. Then he hits a transition 3, and then it was just a barrage late in the third. Like, there's not a whole lot to say about him anymore. You know what the skill set is. You know that he's going to get at or near 30 points, and he's going to make defensive plays, and had a really impressive sequence on a defensive play tonight where he went past Paolo like he was standing still in transition for that speed layup off the steal. But
great steal.
I mean, he's so good. He's so good every single night, that a night where he starts 0 for 4 from 3 and looks like it's like a classic, man, he just doesn't have it game turns into easy 29, double-digit victory. No big deal.
No, he had that one sequence where I forget who was on. It was on Black, I think, where he was just...
Was it Kane?
Was it?
That was the play where he spun on Kane. Yeah, that was Kane. Yep.
And he just had him in a blender for like 5 seconds dancing. And then he comes down next time and just hits a pull-up 3. And it's like, when he's going like that, there's really no good way to defend.
You sure it wasn't Devon's guy, Jet Howard?
Was it Jet? Kyle's just teeing him up.
You guys should have heard Devon talking about Jet Howard.
The last time.
He's the nicest person in my life, Devon. And this was like a heckling session every time Jet Howard was in the game.
The last time I saw Devon this fired up was when we were debating Christmas movies.
Jet Howard, 8 minutes and 36 seconds, 0 for 6. None of them came close tonight. He had zeros across the board and had a personal foul and a turnover in that 8 minutes and 36 seconds. They did not have an extra wing, and Jamal Mosley was looking for something, and he couldn't get it. That's why Jamal Cain got that extra time in the second half. Jet Howard stinks. He has no business being in the league. Stinks. I know his dad is Juwan Howard, and he had a great season at Michigan.
Juwan Howard, come on the show, you coward.
He is.
Devon will give you a piece of his mind.
He is terrible.
Oh, my God.
Certain guys you just don't like. I do not like his game. I didn't understand why he was selected, where he was selected in the lottery. He's not good. Talk about Tyrese Maxey.
And Devon had been going for a little bit. And at the end of the third, I'm turning the key in his back. I was like, boy, they brought him in for an offense-defense sub, and he just kept going again.
Yeah, I was like, why is he out? Leave him in. Attack him.
Devon was begging for either more Jet Howard for the Sixers
more Jet Howard.
Or less Jet Howard for the Magic.
More Jet Howard. Stay out, everybody. Suggs and all you guys sit down, let Jet Howard play.
Anyway, Tyrese was great tonight. Jet Howard was not.
I will score.
Stinking it up out there. I like Devon's chances. Not my chances, but Devon's chances against Jet Howard. I'll take them.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But like, he's a 10-minute per game player. I'm surprised that this kind of guy.
He's a top.
No, he was the top. He was 11th pick. 11th. He was 11th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of mistakes, though. I don't get pissed off at every mistake.
That drafts pretty well.
We've talked more about Jet Howard than Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey.
My bad. My bad.
Joel Embiid, pretty good second half.
Pretty darn good. By the way,
that.
Tyrese Maxey, 7 for 10 in the second half.
Yes.
He was really, really good in the second half, 7 for 10 in that second half, where he just, again, that third quarter that he had, it was really, really, really good. And then just 18 minutes and 48 seconds where he hit those 3 threes, had a steal, had a rebound for those 17 points in the second half. That's what you do. Again, you get the runs from other people. This is where it's huge to have the big four. George has his stretch. Embiid has his stretch. Edgecombe has a stretch of the other things that he is doing to help impact winning. And Tyrese Maxey is the one who's driving the car now. And he drove that car in that third quarter and in that second half, leading to their 50 points overall. They were 3 for 11 from 3 in the second half. Those were his threes.
That was an improvement, by the way.
Yes, it was. They were 0 for 8 outside of his made threes. And 0 for 7 outside of his 3 attempts overall, and his 3 makes certainly, but really good. So Joel Embiid, 12 points in the second half. He was 4 for 7. And he even had one play where he drove baseline. He didn't even take the shot, but he had a quick
move.
Speed, Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing type spin baseline that was like, oh, Joel's back. Joel felt good, and when you're winning, and when you're making plays, and when you're doing all those things, instincts come back, and guess what? It doesn't hurt anymore to make that type of move. He was really good.
So here was the thing that I was struck
Jett
by
Howard
mid-game.
0 for 4 in the second half, 2 minutes and 15
I need
seconds.
I'm going
somebody.
to Photoshop Devon and Jett Howard into the Player Haters Ball sketch from Chappelle's show. It's just a giant easel with a picture of Jett Howard and Devon staring at it.
I need Kira Lewis Jr. to sign with somebody so I can just go in on that bust of a lottery pick.
So
Joel.
I think what I really appreciated about that game, other than he played well in the second half, was before he played well, I wasn't sitting there being like, oh my God, he can't move. It was a bad game or a slow start that was mostly like the Joel that won MVPs and went to All-Star games, where it was like, those are some silly passing turnovers. He took some shots that I didn't like. Maybe he could have gotten deeper position, but it was not about his mobility. It was not about his fluidity. And I thought you mentioned the speed move. He had a power move on Wendell Carter Jr. where he just threw him to the floor and then throws down a real two-handed dunk and scores. And that was a moment that a month ago, I would have thought that play was never happening again. I was convinced that Joel was never going to dunk again.
That is 4 dunks in 4 games.
He is dunking with
the
regularity at this point, and that was the one that I was like, he just treated him like a little kid. And Wendell Carter Jr. is smaller than Joel, but it's not like a Dembono where it's like massive weight and size discrepancy. So even within the bad stretches of the game for Joel, I think you see how much better he looks and feels. And that, to me, is the best sign of progress yet, because we know he's going to score. You give him single coverage with Noah Penda and Wendell Carter Jr., all due respect to those guys, they were just left to die in the second half for the most part. But when he can look good, at least physically, when he's playing poorly, that is just 2 and 3 degrees removed from where we were at even earlier this season.
And again, 31 minutes and 23 seconds. He didn't need to play 38, but he's over 30 again. And he got a little bit of rest in this one where, hey, maybe he plays in game.
Under 38 for Tyrese, by the way. Throw a goddamn parade.
Just under 38, and VJ 39. And with the Embiid piece of it is, hey, man, you didn't have to tax yourself so much tonight. Maybe you play in game 1 of Toronto instead of game 2, and you go from there.
I kind of had the same reaction that Kyle did, where like you look at the box score, wasn't great for Joel in the first half. You see some of the shots, other turnovers, you're a little bit frustrated. But then I also found myself at other points going like, man, it's a night and day difference from 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, earlier in the season. And it is refreshing for you to feel those two conflicting emotions where you're like, my God, he looks so much. I can't believe how much better he looks. And also, what the bleep you doing? You know, it is great to be able to just be frustrated with him as a basketball player rather than questioning whether or not he can even do this anymore. And I haven't questioned that now in quite a while. And he's played in 13 of the last 17 games. He's playing, 2 games in 3 nights. He's playing 3 games in 5 nights. Like, he's just playing basketball regularly and he played 40 minutes against the Nuggets.
Eugene just pointed this out. He's correct. Joel, as we speak, just posted on Instagram and said, thought I would never dunk again. LOL. And it's just him with 2 hands on the rim from that play.
Did he have 1 or 2
tonight.
tonight?
I think he only had
the one.
Okay.
But that's dunks in back-to-back games. And some people would say in 3 straight games, but I don't really count the
That
one
first
from
one.
the Denver game. That was kind of a throw-in.
We got to go to overtime. So before I get to my next point,
Set it up.
probably. I mean, if you're watching on Fast, then over allphly.com. Keep watching us. So,
Look at you, Devon Bodner.
I mean, I was trying to pass it over
Or
to him.
Derek
and then
Gibbons.
maybe- he trolled the heck out of Doc Rivers after the last game. And it was, first of all, it was incredible. As somebody who only does dry humor, in part because I'm not funny any other way, but in part because that's just my sense of humor, his ability to pull off a Doc Rivers reference without skipping a beat, without making a smile, I was very, very impressed. But even with that Instagram post, he's starting to troll again. And you can tell he's more confident when he's willing to step out on a limb and troll. And everything about that, from the ability to elevate in traffic, the ability to make jokes about it afterwards, the ability to make jokes about playing with your meat that your head coach screwed up a couple years ago.
I'm leaving that to you.
I mean, look, go to PHLY_Sixers on YouTube. You can see the reference. It is a Doc Rivers reference. I'm not talking about any of us on this panel. It is just you're just seeing so much more of the old Joel that we hadn't seen in so long.
Yeah,
and you're seeing it regularly, and it is honestly a joy to watch because you just didn't. Truthfully, I had no idea if he was ever going to be capable of this again.
Even something as small as when he's sitting at the scores table where they're figuring out whatever they're figuring out, and he decides to press the button for the in-arena announcer and starts talking on the mic.
He's such a fool,
right?
man.
But that's to what you guys are talking about. He's just having fun again, and things like that
shows the Instagram post of
things like that are exactly what we're talking about. So it is really good to see it, man, and putting the ball on the floor, going to finish. I was watching you guys' video that you posted where Nick Nurse was like, I really like the fact that I keep saying when he puts the ball on the floor, I know he's feeling good. Yeah. And he's putting the ball on the floor and he's doing things at the front of the rim where it's the power move to the finesse move. And I love it because we've talked about the jump hooks for so long. He made the left-handed jump hook in the Washington game. It was like, oh, what is that? But when you get to the front of the rim, you don't have to dunk it every time. Mm-hmm. If you get it right to the rim, it's either a goaltender or you're going to make it or you're going to miss it. You have a chance. Get there and then finish it, and you get Wendell Carter in foul trouble. They have to dust off Jonathan Isaac because there is no depth. And you have Penda, who's a rookie, that he's just simply going to overpower him to get to that spot. And it's really good to see that from Joel Embiid right now. And that's why we're feeling comfortable, again, just talking about the big three and the big four, because he and Paul George are now playing at a higher level than we expected either of them to be at this stage of the season. And it's really, again, encouraging to see this from all of the guys.
100%.
So, final one. You want to say something to be?
Well, I was going to say, I wanted to make sure we get to the unsung, the double unsung
Final
hero.
one was the double unsung hero, and that is Jabari Walker for the minutes that he gave them when they needed it most in the first half. Kyle was looking at the box score at the half and said, wait a minute, why does he only have one rebound on the stat sheet? It seems like he has
ended
four.
The game with one rebound.
And didn't score.
2 assists, 1 steal, and he had 2 points on 2 free throws. Did not make a shot. But boy, it really felt like the roughly 9.5 minutes that he played, he left an imprint on that game. I thought that he was kind of the start of changing the rebounding battle. And again, I know it sounds ridiculous because, again, he had a single rebound, but I thought the physicality that he played with was important. And I do think I get a little nervous when he puts the ball on the floor because there are some of these slot drives or drives from the corner that he makes are, we'll call them adventurous. Let's say that. Well, it'd be nice. But tonight he had a sequence where 2 different times on the same possession, he attacked the closeout, got toward the paint. First time, he hits the opposite corner and the ball swings around. He then has to respace to the weak side corner, gets the ball back, attacks off the dribble again, and then he hits Andre Drummond for a drop-off dunk, and it was one of their best offensive possessions of the night. He's just like the classic, it's like the 55-year-old dad who's like, he's just a basketball player. He just knows what to do out there. Like I can feel that seeping out of me as I watch him play. He's just a good, sound, positional player who you don't need or want him playing a big role. But when you need somebody to give you 10 to 15 just rock solid minutes, he's going to do that for you. I thought he was a really important piece of staying together in that first half. And then that buys you time for Joel, Tyrese, and Paul to take that game home in the final 24 minutes.
That's some pretty good passes, too. They had that one possession where they swung the ball around the perimeter. He found, I think it was Drummond for a dump-off pass.
Yeah, I just talked about that one.
That was a great possession where the ball just popped around the perimeter overall, and they got that finish, that dunk for Andre Drummond. That was a really good possession that you can just look at that. That was their second half on the night for leading to this victory overall. Good stuff from Jabari Walker. Derek, just to let everybody know one more time, how many games does he have left?
I have no idea.
About 21. 20. I think he's at 20 now after this game. So
But again, that's games that you're active for, not
Active.
games that you've played. So I'd have to go back and double check. But it sounds about right.
Yep. So it's about 21 games left on the season for Jabari Walker. All right. Great win by the Sixers, everybody. Once again, don't forget, 5:30 pregame show for us on Sunday.
Second screen while the Eagles are on. How
Exactly.
about that?
Yes, please do. Please do. You got a good basketball team. Let's, help us out here and watching the show. Before we go, though, you guys talked about it with me and Rich and Bree on Wednesday. We got to ask the guys about the trade that went down. You guys were in the arena. Did you get how sometimes you're in the arena and you start to get that buzz of, hey, it's about to happen?
Well, you're always on hug watch. If it happens in
Right.
the middle of the game, guys are just doing their daps on the sideline.
And we were talking about it on the pregame show. CJ McCollum hasn't missed a game all year.
Yeah.
And now he's out?
Yeah.
I know they played the night before, but now he's out. And we knew Trae Young had already missed 6 games in a row, but it started to pick up. Our teammate at DLLS, Mark Stein, again broke the story. And your thoughts on the trade on both sides and what it means?
I think it's kind of good for everybody. I think it's the right time to. It's probably past the right time to get out of the Trae Young business, but it's definitely the right time in the sense of you're not going to let this situation linger. Trae was clearly not a fit with where the Hawks are going at this point. They came together. They said, we're getting him out of here. I like that about it. I think they got they got a nice role player in Kispert. McCollum is going to give them something this year, but I think they view him more as an expiring contract to clear some money and see what you can do with that next summer. And honestly, assuming that the reporting is right, that Washington is not expecting to play Trae much the rest of this year, I kind of like it for them as just you take a punt on him for next year on the player option. You tank this year, you try to get AJ, Peterson, or Boozer. I think I'm trying to think of who would. I guess you just want whoever the best guy is for that group because I don't think anyone has emerged yet that you'd say we're chasing fit with whoever this pick is going to be. But you load up again in the draft this year, and for whatever Trae's issues are on the defensive end, and they are many, he will get easy shots for all the guys on that roster. And I think that will benefit DeBanza if they were to get him. That'll benefit Peterson, who doesn't need shot creation help. Certainly help Boozer, maybe Caleb Wilson, one of these other guys further down the order. It's going to help Trey Johnson. It's going to help Bub Carrington, who's been asked to play. Yeah, Alex Sarr is a big beneficiary. I'm not a guy who wants to build a team around Trey. But if you just look at it as we have him for a year, he helps us raise the floor a little bit for this group of young guys that they have discovered some talent and just need a little bit of structure. And then you say probably goodbye after that because you didn't pay. That's the other thing. You didn't pay anything really to get him. So you're not pot committed to say, oh, we have to extend him after this. So I like it as kind of a risk-free or low-risk gamble for Atlanta or for Washington. And I think Atlanta did the right thing, just moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I think my general thought process was why would that make any sense for Washington? You've got Trae, you want to develop, you've got your lottery pick, you don't want to raise your floor. But two things. First of all, the price was just so low. Kispert's nice, but you don't get in the way.
Kispert.
The price was so low that it's okay, well, I understand taking a chance just to see. And if the reporting is true where if they start winning, they'll just sit him, it means that they've got their eye on the prize and they're not going to let that get in the way of what really matters. Then yeah, it's fine for them. And look, I'm not a Trae Young fan at all. I'm certainly low on the spectrum of Trae Young believers, but the price, like I said, is, first of all, he's obviously a great offensive player, can run leads the league in pick and roll attacks pretty much every year. And it's costs you nothing. And like I said, the key to me is you've got to make sure that you maximize that draft pick. And I think this new lottery system sort of helps stuff like this because there's no benefit to being the worst team in the league anymore. As long as you're one of the 4 worst or, right around there, it's pretty much equal odds. So yeah, you can go out there, see, evaluate him for however many games you're going to evaluate him for, have another year left on that contract and not get in the way of your draft pick. Then yeah, it's fine. Now, I'm not quite as kind to the Hawks. Like for what they could get now, this was probably a fine trade. But it does felt like you could have seen this coming, 12 months ago and gotten significantly more.
All right, so there's a trio of point guards that are talked about. It's Trae Young, and then there's the next one who dropped 40 on the Sixers last week. His name has now come up. It has come up before, and it seems like, according to reports, that now Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies are open to discussions as we are less than a month from the trade deadline of being moved. And this one would be interesting too. You see some names out there, Minnesota, Sacramento, some of these other teams. Milwaukee, I saw that they might also be thrown in the mix.
And all
here.
those make sense. Like Sacramento is just in no man's land. Milwaukee's desperate to put somebody with Giannis, and Minnesota needs guard play. Like the Dillingham pick looks like it was a complete strikeout.
And as a fan of basketball and as a fan of Anthony Edwards, I just don't want him anywhere near Minnesota.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
If I was taking a chance on a guard,
he
is not the one.
No, but his name is now out there as potentially discussions where they are now looking to build around
I would
Jaren
bet
Jackson
like a Brooklyn team gets in. I would throw them in as like they just want a star by any means necessary. I know
them trading for a point guard star after drafting 5 point guards would be
it'd be hilariously on brand.
Yes.
But I would keep an eye on a team like that where they'll just say we get a big name in a New York market and we'll figure the rest out later. That's kind of been their MO always.
Yeah. Unless they just decide to stay patient and
we'll see
if they go from there. All right, final one on the way out. Got a big game. Not the Sixers, not just the Sixers on Sunday. Got to ask the guys here because we will have our pregame as the game is playing. Kyle, I already know how you go.
No, not this time. I do not have. I do not have the conviction to sit here and be like birds by a million. I am terrified of how the Eagles have looked this year. To me, the saving grace is that they've been here before. Jalen Hurts historically has been a great big game player dating back to college. I just don't trust how they have run the offense the entire year. They played with fire, and I don't know, man. Like San Francisco's banged up, and so that I think that's probably the thing that gives me the most hope is you don't get a full strength version of a good team heading into the opening weekend here. But I don't have any conviction when it comes to the Eagles this year. And you know what? That's fine. They won the Super Bowl last year. They've won more Super Bowls in the last 10 years than I thought they'd ever win in my life because I thought I would die without the Eagles having won a Super Bowl. So I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not. I want them to go out and like have a proud title defense, and I want them to put up a good fight. I want them to win all these games and go back to back, and then they can start filming their own documentary like the fucking Chiefs did, and then they got absolutely demolished when they went for their three-peat documentary. But if they end up losing, then they can just fire Kevin Patullo, and so everything's coming up Millhouse no matter what happens here.
Drop those birds in the chat, everybody, as we get Derek's thoughts. Make sure you drop those birds in the chat. Let us know how you feel about the game upcoming. Derek?
Fuck that shit. Fuck you, you coward. Birds by a million. 42 to 14.
Come on.
One of us has got to be confident.
Come on. I'm suing you. Bid infringement.
That's good, man. Hey, big game. The one thing that we do know,
whenever you say complexion 100% of the time correctly, then you can steal my bit. How about that?
That one thing we know about this team is what they can do, and that's turn it up when they get to the postseason.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case. I think it's a close one, but I think they win it with the injuries, especially at the linebacker position for the San Francisco 49ers.
They should be able to run on these guys.
I think they should be able to have some
And when they
success
can
there.
run on teams, that's when everything opens up.
And if that defense is as good as we think it is and carrying a playoff win, win this game. And I'll look at it like
my doubts are not about the talent. It's all about how the talent is being used.
Yep.
And that's like, it's hard to get the
Turn
talent.
it up!
It's much harder to get the talent, but they have not done a great job of using all of it this year. Well, on offense. Defense, Vic Fangio, statue. He's a legend. I love Vic Fangio.
That just gave me the Busta Rhymes remix, the Touch It remix. Turn it up! Turn it up, boys.
Man,
in the
I haven't thought
playoffs.
of. Isn't Papoose on that song? What happened to him?
But the remixes with the ladies.
Oh, it's with all. Well, I feel like there's like a ton
But
of
it's all
different
of them in there.
yeah,
But the remixes with the ladies, with all of them. From,
Anyway, talking about the Touch It remix at 10:50 on Friday night.
Bree, what's it gonna look like?
Birds by a Million.
Oh, Two thieves.
You know
can sue
it.
me too.
All right, everybody, that'll do it for us. You get a nice win tonight. Hopefully, you get the double bubble on Sunday with the Birds and the Sixers. We'll be back 5:30 for the pregame show, beginning at 5:30. Sixers Raptors, huge 2-game series in Toronto against the Raptors. Sixers only a half game back now because of the victory tonight, and the Raptors lost. They sat everybody saying, "We'll lose to Boston. We got the Sixers."
Conceding against
Exactly.
the Celtics.
There you go. So you know what?
Go
We'll
back
see
to
them.
Canada.
We'll see them
Literally.
on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday. It's time for the world famous. Let's wrap it up with the roll call.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being
Turn it
here.
up.
Obviously, it's the Busta Gibbons over here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. On the way out, I always say it, but please hit that thumbs up button. It helps us out a lot more than you could possibly imagine. Underline, bold font, exclamation point. It really helps us out. It helps me sleep at night. But also, it's a thank you to Bree, who's always making shit happen on this show and making things better. So please hit the thumbs up for Bree, if for no other reason. Thank you all for being here, spending your Friday night with us. Thank you to James Sheehan. Thank you to Edward Chamberlain.
What up, Jay?
Thank you to Vince Pellegrini. Thank you to Mr. Midrange, Remo K.
Remote.
BBVER. Do we have a super chat,
Oh, that's true.
by the way, Bree?
That's true.
Derek's got to read the super chat.
Oh, yeah. Real Prince Blue. Thank you for the super chat. What does it say, Derek?
What is the complexion of the team? Now, look, I think you're trying to, okay, if you're just trying to give me a grief for saying complexion, that's fine. There are two, like, complexion isn't just like skin complexion. It is the general makeup of something. It is how something, like, here, second definition, the general aspect or character of something.
Oh, yeah. This is what the people want. Merriam-Webster on a Friday night.
Turn it up.
Thank you,
I'm
Real
just saying, if
Prince
you're going to give me
Blue.
grief,
Thank
give me
you.
grief for saying complexion, not complexion.
Thank you to Philly Star, to
Philly
Riaz,
Star.
to Jazz Graham, to T. Burrell,
Jazzy Jazz.
to Brenna, stopping through on an off night to say hello. She had a, you know what was really cool? She had a wrench next to her name in the chat. I've never seen that before. Brenna is on a level of administrative duty at levels unseen and unheard on YouTube before. Thank you to Brenna. Thank you to Jay at the Jungle, who I think was tied up with a game for a loved one tonight and missed the game.
What
But
up, Jay?
thank you to
Hope
Jay.
you guys
Thank
won.
you to Brian Knight, Kyle Wright,
B.
Philly
Knight.
Reddick, Mom's grandchildren.
Kyle Knight.
Hello, Mom. Thank you to Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
You done messed up, I heard.
You done messed up, Raptors.
Thank you to True
49ers.
Thought Tribe, Constantine, White Square here, James Alexander, X-Man, Eugene Ross,
What up,
Music
X?
Lover, Philly Star 33, Nick Obb, Keita King, I Gavini, Reardon, D Flyers,
D-Fly.
Free Didi.
Free DD.
I don't know who Didi is, but I just said Free Didi, so now I'm part of the
We
movement.
need to free DD.
I don't know Didi, so I'm not sure I can say that with confidence. But probably Free Didi.
Probably free.
Free my man. Smy Guy. Well, I almost said
Smitey.
Aaron again. Thank you to Black Moses in the building.
Right.
Jack Reacher, Lost Sleep TV. You better love somebody.
Love somebody.
Thank you to my girl Nona. Thank you to Deck Inc., Marcus Blackstock, Jess, Val,
Hey, ladies.
Ish, Machiavelli. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can get notifications each and every time we go live. We will be back on Sunday for pregame and postgame. Stay safe. Take care of one another until then. And as always, go fucking Birds!
Turn it up.
We all silly like the mayor.